Happy Monday. Sarah Ray from the Douglas County Chamber here. Welcome to our Monday edition of Chamber Connect. So right now we have Miss Doris Turner with us today, and she's going to talk about all things census today. Hey, Doris, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. You know, it's definitely been a Monday for sure. Like, it's just, I don't know if you feel that way, but it's just.
Oh, I know. Busy.
Yes, and we will be joined very soon by our other guest, Ron Roberts from the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. He and Doris are going to talk to us a little bit about the census and why it's so important right now. So Doris, why don't we talk about you for a minute? So why don't you tell everybody who you are, who you work for, what your role is there, and we're going to get started there.
Okay, I'm sorry. My name is Doris Turner, and I am a partnership specialist for the U.S. Census Bureau. And I worked in the 2010 census with Douglas County, and
Very cool. Very cool. So census, it's a little bit of a, a lot of times people think that the census is just, something that is, people wanting to know how many people live in your house, knowing your address, that helps us tabulate the population. Can you talk a little bit about, maybe the other things that, that the census.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, geez, it's okay. So with the census, it talks about population, and a lot of times people just think it's the government's way of wanting to know where they live. But can you talk a little bit about the other things that the census captures and kind of why it's important?
It's important. The census is important because it's mandated by the government and by the U.S. And what we want people to know that the census is safe, it's easy, and it's important, and that the census helps things like your highways, your hospitals, your roads. This is money that is funded to you if you're counted. So we want to make sure that everyone that's in your community is counted. It doesn't matter where you from or who you are, just as long as if you live in that area, you need to be counted.
Very cool. Very cool. So I think that our friend is here. There he is. Ron.
I think he was calling me. Sorry, Ron, I couldn't answer.
That's okay.
Cool. We were obviously talking about how this has been a little bit of a Monday. I don't know about y'all, but for me, for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's been a Monday.
It has been crazy. It has been crazy. So, Ron, we were just getting started talking about the census and kind of, why it's important and all of that. So do you mind just doing a quick intro of yourself, who you are, where you work, what your role is with the census?
Sure, Sarah. Yes. So my name is Ron Roberts. I'm the Planning and Zoning Manager for Douglas County. And since April 1st, 2019, when Madam Chair approached me and asked that I be involved in the census, me and my co-chair for the county, Tiffany Stewart Stanley, have been very active. And we have worked a lot with Mrs. Turner, who's on this as well. And we've done a number of things that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you towards the census and getting the word out and the importance of getting the money that I know y'all were just talking about. The funding for all the things that the census entails is astronomical, and we estimate about $2,000 or $3,000 per person for everybody that doesn't respond back to the census. And so that's a big loss if this county can't get that. We're the 17th largest county out of 159, and we want to be able to capitalize on the census because it's only done every 10 years.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, okay, I just want to back up. And I remember we all chatted on our Government Affairs Committee meeting last week. And there were some statistics that you gave that I just thought, were astonishing. So you just said, for people who don't complete the census, it costs us $2,000 to $3,000 per person that we don't. Are you saying so that our community doesn't receive?
That's correct. That's about you figure for every person that is not counted, and that means like a family of 5. So every person in that family, everybody. And one of the stats that I really do like to bring out and quote, and Ms. Turner probably heard this ad nauseum, but when we got our complete count booklet, how to build our complete count committee, how to get the word out, how to start. They had the 5 hard to count demographics, and one of them was children 5 and under, historically underrepresented. What a sin that is. Those kids, if they're not counted, they lose out on all the services, maybe SNAP programs, schools, things like that for the next 10 years. They'll be 15 years old before the next census rolls around. So when you drive through communities, and sometimes you see trailers and things like that behind schools and things, because they didn't count. They just didn't count, right? And that's one of the things that I'd like to highlight.
And one of the things too, Ron, is one of our lunch programs in schools.
Exactly.
That is so important, because so many kids, families depend on that. So we want to make sure that those children are counted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's hugely important, and to think, I mean, I don't know, it just puts it in perspective. Obviously we all know the census happens every 10 years, but to put in perspective that, my son is 7. So the fact that the decisions I'm making will basically get him through, that's terrifying, like through college, till college. And those people that aren't submitting that information, how much that affects them. And like you said, it's health, well-being, it's educational resources, because the census is kind of the mecca of data gathering and what people pull from and use to help plan for the future. So things like, I know economic development is a huge one, and Ron can probably talk to that a little bit too.
Yes, I mean, that's you look at the government side, and we've talked about the impact for the funding, Medicaid, schools, roads, all that. But then there is the flip side. There is the business component. It is these companies that are looking for to move into communities, and they have to, the census and census tract, those numbers are what triggers sometimes those movements and those businesses relocating to a certain area. They look at that. They look at even deeper than the census tract. They look at not to get too geeky, but the transportation analysis zones. That's how, that's what, I was in Austin 20 years ago, and I was sitting there at this GIS conference, and there was several employees from Starbucks in there. This is 20 years ago, and they were looking. That's how they were going to these, looking at GIS, looking at census material to see where they're going to locate. That's just a small example of how businesses look, and supply chains as well.
Yeah. Well, and I know even just in talking and working really closely with the Economic Development Authority, when they have site selectors that are coming, or, different developers, that's one of their go-to resources. And if we don't hit the marks in certain areas, and the scary part is we might hit the marks and we know we do, but if we don't have the data to back it up, then that eliminates us from potential growth and opportunity and jobs and, those things everybody always talks about. Why don't we have a Trader Joe's? That data all ties back to parts of the census, which, a lot of people, again, I think get kind of stuck in the lane of, it's just someone wanting to know where I live. And that's like the tiniest little piece of it.
Yes.
Got it. So talk to me about kind of where we're at right now. I mean, we're obviously into the active census time. And Doris, why don't you kind of give us like a little update on how we're looking, what our numbers are looking at, how much time we have left, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. Okay, right now, Douglas County is at 64.8% as of this moment. And we have like 3 tracks that we're most concerned about, and Ron and I talk about this almost daily about the tracks. So we're trying to hit those 3 tracks, which is up around in the Lithia Springs area, and we're trying to. We have mobile QAs that we're setting up. We have things like that, different events in those type areas, so that we can get those numbers up. Those numbers are much lower than what we want them to be, and they are affecting our overall number, the 64%. So in order, Madam Chair, she wants us to get up to 100%, and that's what we want. So we're on a big push. We had something last Saturday, which I thought was amazing. The book bag at the courthouse, along with 19 testing, and it went very well. And so we're very excited about what Douglas County is doing. You guys, we have a large Hispanic population around in that area, in the Lithia Springs area. We have a lot of apartment complexes. So we want to get the word out to everyone to know that you are important and the census is safe. So it's okay to let us know that there is 5 people living in your home, because this is going to affect, like I said, emergency services, Medicare, health clinics, all the things that we need to keep moving on into the future. So remember, this affects us for the next 10 years. So it's really, really important that we take advantage of the census. It's online. You can just fill it out online. It takes about 10 minutes, I think, or less. And we're done. So we are really, really pushing for everyone to be counted in Douglas County.
Absolutely. I mean, I took my census back, when we were all sheltering in place and everybody didn't have anywhere they could go. I'm like, oh, what a perfect time to do my census. So
I know. I did the same thing,
Yeah. I mean, you're sitting at home and you can't go out to dinner. Like, oh, well, let's just, go through the mail and do my census. But you're right. It took less than 5 minutes to take it. Super easy, super quick. Did not take any kind of extra thought behind, it's not like you have to go gather all these documents. Like, you just basically put all the information in and then you're counted, and it's that easy. So, and I know our number, I just from talking with you the other day, we're actually ahead of the state average, right? So we're doing good, but we've still got a long ways to go. Yes. Ron, do you want to tell them what our goal is as far as we're at 64.8 and our goal is what?
100%. Yes, Madam Chair. 100%.
Yeah, no, non-negotiable. Yeah, I mean, and just to your point, so do the math. If we have, I'm about to get my calculator out here and be a nerd. So if we have 145,000 people and 30% of those people don't take this, multiply that times 3,000, how many, that's millions of dollars. That's millions of dollars that are left on the table.
It's a lot left on the table. You don't want to see it. We've done, you know what?
We're not going to put the number out there. Everybody else do the math.
Yeah. We're very fortunate in Douglas County. Madam Chair has gave us some additional resources last year and this year. We printed these cards in English and Spanish for the libraries and got them out to the libraries. We got them out. We've handed them out during July 4th, the parade. When we could meet in person. These things went in book bags. Additionally, we also we sent the census cards in English and Spanish. Let me get over here. Let's see. In English and Spanish, we sent these out in WSA and their bills, so people could. And they actually came out. They actually landed in people's mailbox on April 1st this year. So that was perfect timing. So we've done everything we can. We put signage out. We had Mrs. Turner will share with you. We had a really good plan. We had a complete count committee. We had identified these resources in each census tract, the census tract she's talking about, especially. And so, but we don't have the advantage anymore, Sarah, of being able to go and hand all these tchotchkes out to everybody.
I know.
Cool stuff. There were the little eyeglass things.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And we got so much fans back before the COVID hit. We had the wind down Wednesdays. We had those fans, and we gave out 4,000 or 5,000 fans just on the 4th of July. So we as a county saw this need. Leadership saw this need. We've been engaged since day one. We had a big rollout, and we've been working with the city of Billerica, the city of Douglasville, because it it does matter, and it matters for all of us, no matter where they live. But I'm concerned about getting these numbers up. I mean, we're in the top. I guess Doris, would you say top 10 percentile?
We're in the top 10%. We're doing pretty good, and I noticed and I know you may not know track numbers, but Ron and I know the 80106 and 07 and 04. Those are our tracks that we're most concerned about. Mm-hmm. But two of the tracks are already almost 50%. So we are doing a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So we want to do great. So the tracks are the word is getting out, and now we're doing what we call non-response follow-up. So that's going on right now. So people are getting the knock, and we were hoping that we would avoid the knock so they could go ahead and fill out a census form. And we were with the Board of Commissioners with Mr. Commissioner Mitchell about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, running one of our census managers, our ACM, that she went on the call. And she actually talked in great detail about the census. And so we're hoping that word got out. And we're just trying to push it in every way that we can. Right now, we're on that push. So we're just having events and back to school, things that we're passing out. So we're just hoping that we can get those numbers up really, really fast.
Yeah. Well, and so Ron, you brought up something, and I meant to talk to you guys about this last week when we were on our call. I was on a call with someone from the city of Douglasville, and they were, I know, they did a podcast. I was on a podcast last week, and they were telling me they're in a census challenge with the other cities in Georgia. Have you heard about this? So they're committed on their side as well, partnering with y'all and sharing out to city of Douglasville residents. One, because the census matters and it's important, but two, apparently we have some competitive friends at the city that are like, Smyrna is not beating us. Like, we're going to beat them, So I think that even just the partners that are working on making sure that the numbers do get counted, like you guys, like the city, that they're even, there's even some fun and competitiveness with that too. I thought that was so cute. They're like, we are not letting Smyrna beat us.
I know we got some catching up to do. It's Smyrna, because they're like, I think they're like at 69. What are they? 69%. So they're a little bit higher.
So what's our countdown? Because I know the dates have changed on when the cutoff is. When's the deadline for people to get their information turned in?
Well, right now we're looking at the end of September.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that we push for that time, and we're just telling everybody to respond today. Do not wait until September. Don't wait. Just go ahead and respond today. And it's like I said, it's just so easy to do, and we just you don't have to go out, because we know since we had the setback with COVID-19 that people are not going out as much. So it worked out really well, because they could just, go online and do it. So we're hoping that we can just encourage everyone to do that.
Got it. Great. So two more things, and then I know we don't want to keep this too long, but it's been great information. One thing is, I know you guys have a great resource, and I don't think that we have the capabilities of popping it up, but we can put it in the chats. But you guys have this great map that you can kind of show, and it kind of hovers and tells some different data. You want to talk about that? I remember Ron was showing off on it the other day, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the website that we go to, the data that we were quoting and the census tracks. And that's actually the actual census.gov page where we go. You can actually Google census response rates, and it'll pull up state, and you can drill down to state, county, and then census tracks. And that's what I had pulled up. I didn't even think to do that. I don't know if I want to meddle with it right now, but
we can go click on it.
Yeah. But it is good information to have, and it does show, where we are by color. And then once you, like you said, you hover over it, you get the percentages, so you know where you're actually landing. One thing I did want to mention, Sarah, real quick, and I know we talked about the funding, but and just in case there are people out there that are listening that may not maybe, that doesn't hit home. Maybe that money doesn't really impact them. But, it also, I had other people that told me, and this is a fact, the census actually it represents where we are, so your ancestors, people that are into ancestry and into looking up their lineage and their history and things like that. John Lewis just passed, and we talked about that was one of the things that came up in our conversation with Commissioner Mitchell, was the fact that census material is hidden for 72 years. And so he had just pulled his up and was sharing that on his Facebook page a few weeks ago, just before.
Wow.
So I mean, that's a big deal. Being able to that people look back and they depend on that information, and you don't even think about your children's children looking back, but they probably want to know that you lived in Douglas County.
That's a very good point. I've never thought about that before. Very cool. So, okay, one more question that I have. So if people are, obviously some might think that this is less important than it really is. How can people in our community help spread the word about getting others to take their census? How can people that live here help spread the word?
Well, there's many ways you can help spread the word. We had a few contests early on, and it was like you have to tell at least 4 people. Once you tell everyone in your family, you tell 4 more people. And then it was just kept like a domino effect. So it was shared with 4 more people, 4 more people. So that helped get the word out. If someone's having an event at the church level, at the school level, we have PSAs all over. Madam Chair did a lot of things at the school level. And so now the school is back in, even though some schools are not actually there, we can still get the word out. We go to food pantries. We put the little flyers in food pantry. We pass out cups, fans, whatever. So in every event, we try to push the word. So you tell a friend. So once you tell a friend and tell them the importance of the census and how the money matters. And I think people then kind of think about, well, maybe did I get it? Oh yeah, I did get it in the mail, Well, how can I, and you can go on www.mycensus.gov and fill out the information, or you can call our 800 number to talk to a live person. Say you feel like, well, I don't know if I don't have the internet, but you can talk to a live person.
Got it.
So that's how we kind of get the word out, through events, through word of mouth.
So basically, there's no excuse as to why anybody shouldn't take it.
None.
No.
If you can call and talk to someone, you can text, basically, maybe not text, but you can email, you can go online, you can do it through the mail, right? You can call your sister and have her fill it out for you. There's basically no reason why we should leave dollars on the table. And the more people that take it, the more, again, growth opportunity that we'll have for our community. And that looks different for everybody. And I think that you guys have done an awesome job at kind of giving examples of that, because it doesn't necessarily just have to be business focused. It doesn't have to just, think about your children, think about health and well-being, think about the roads, think about, housing, think about transportation. Like you guys have named out like 20 ancestry. I never thought of that one. That was a great, you win, Ron. That was the coolest one. The different ways of how, everybody has a reason for doing something. And that goes just back to the census as well. So
absolutely.
Cool. So do you guys have any final kind of quick shout outs of any kind of information, call to action, kind of your last little hurrah about the census?
Well, I wanted to just give you the number to the census at the 8. Yes. Okay. If you want to call in, you can call it 844-330-2020. Or go to www.mycensus.gov and talk. You can go online or talk to a live person. If you need help, or if you'd like to just talk to someone about the census, you will get someone on the phone. And remember, the census is safe, it's easy, and it's important.
Absolutely. Ron?
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for contacting us and giving us this opportunity. It is a blessing. This is, since COVID, this is how we've had to reach out to people. I want to 1st, Tiffany Stewart Stanley is doing the outreach Women for the Census program on the 20th of August. We also we're lining up to do September Saturdays virtually. We're going to have a census presence on all those as Rick Martin, the Director of Communications, sets those up going forward. I think individually, if you guys out there are citizens see this and they want to get in touch with me and they want to help me to get this information out to libraries or to their neighbors, or especially if you live in apartment complexes, and especially if you're in 801.07.
Yes, or have friends that live in this area of Lithia Springs, call them.
Yes.
We want your help, and we want you. You can actually just email me or Robert at co.douglas.ga.us. Please, I can hook you up with some material. Ms. Turner, she lives right outside the county. She's here.
I would be happy to send you some material. So
we've got it. We've got it. What we need is the people that can help, and that's one thing we talked about. You don't want strange people come and knock, and so be that person in your neighborhood, be that person in your community, be that person in your apartment complex that disseminates that safely for everybody, and help us to help you.
I appreciate that. That was great. I love when you called out. You're like, if you live in this area. Maybe we'll set up a time in like September 27th and we can go through and be like, okay, so who lives on this road? We need your help. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. Always. It's great to talk to you. We'll make sure in the chats on all our platforms that we're streaming this on, that we leave all of the contact information, the websites and information for that. And again, everybody make yourselves count, take your census, because we don't want to have to come knock on your doors. We just think that, it'll be a lot easier if you just did it today. So thank you guys both for joining us. We'll be here next week with another episode of Chamber Connect, and we hope you guys all have a great day.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Avoid the knock.
Love it.
Yeah.